more relevant news, at least nationally with the NFL. They came out with a portion of their NFL's top 100 players list, and I know people in the audience have seen it. Sam, Lucas, JB, Alex, you guys have seen it as well. But I want to get some reactions to specifically who made the list and maybe some of the surprises before we get to the Lions players that we think will make the list, or maybe who have already made the list. And I guess the obvious one for me would be, how in the hell did Jamal Williams make it over Trevor Lawrence, Harrison Smith, Tristan Wirfs, Devonta Smith? How in the hell is Jamal Williams just behind Dalvin Cook as well?
That's the insane one to me. And Trevor Lawrence, obviously.
What the hell?
Makes no sense.
Now, mind you, and I don't want to take away anything Jamal did last season. Listen, he broke Barry Sanders' touchdown record, all that. Yeah, great. And by the way, it stinks because I got to look in the record book and see Jamal Williams now. So that pisses me off. You're not going to see Barry Sanders. You're going to see Jamal Williams. But you know what?
Swag kamikaze.
And you know what Jamal Williams owes that ranking to? You know who he owes respect?
Frank Ragnow, Penei Sewell, Jonah Jackson, Ben Johnson.
Can they all be on that list alongside him? Just in like a
better be
like
if
an
Penei's
asterisk
not on this list. It's invalid.
I'll tell you one thing, and we'll get to that next segment. Who we think will make the list from the Lions, and I got some thoughts on that. Who should be on this list? But just to start with Jamal Williams for a second. How Dalvin Cook is 91. Jamal Williams is 95. Now, to even make it worse, Trevor Lawrence is 96. And Harrison Smith, as old as he is, he's not no slouch. He's 97. Tristan Wirfs, an all-pro tackle, he's 98. Like, it's not that I have a problem with where those guys are ranked, but when you put Jamal at 95, Sam, what in the hell is that?
All right, so this is complicated. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence at 96 is one of the most egregious things I've ever seen. He should be top 30. At best, he's a top 5 quarterback already. At worst, he's probably a top 8 quarterback. Should absolutely be top 30. He proved so much last year. 25 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. You want to see something
that's really going to piss you off, Flannel?
What's that?
I want you to look at number 86 on this list.
Justin Fields.
What?
Ahead of Trevor Lawrence.
Man. All right.
Ahead of Trevor Lawrence.
What?
But you see number 88. Hutch got on there.
Yes.
Behind Justin Fields.
Justin Fields ahead of Trevor Lawrence.
Dude, now, okay, this is going to piss me off because, and listen, we echo this often. I like Justin Fields. Me and Lucas talk. We actually argue with Booner a lot about it. How we have more confidence in Justin Fields than most people do. But 86 above Trevor Lawrence? Above Trevor Lawrence.
One of these guys won a playoff game.
Who votes? Who votes?
These are the players. That's the most mind-boggling part about
this. This is what happens when you make marijuana legal.
By the players.
This is what happens when you make marijuana legal in the league. Guys are getting high, going to dispo, and voting on this shit. What the hell is this?
It's painful. It is painful. And if you think about it, they're saying that Jamal, as far as taking it back to Jamal for a second, Hutch was an 88, so he was only 7 spots compared to Hutchinson, how important he was to this team. And that's the other mind-boggling part about this. If Hutch is an 88, Jamal's a 95, there better be some Amon-Ra or Penei on this list, or I'm going to lose it.
And I don't want to give anything away because, by the way, man, I'm going to voice some concerns and who I think should be there from the Lions. But just at this list, Sam, I'll let you have the floor. Justin Fields over Trevor Lawrence. Come on, dude.
Well, let's start with Justin Fields over Trevor Lawrence. I, like you, Jeff, I, like you, Lucas, am a Justin Fields believer, but he has not done nearly enough to be over Trevor Lawrence on this list. Justin Fields, quite frankly, should not be on this list yet. And I understand Justin Fields is dynamic. Justin Fields is arguably the best running quarterback in the NFL right now, even above Lamar Jackson. The season he had as a runner was phenomenal, but as a thrower, Justin Fields only completed 20 passes or more in a game once. And oh, by the way, 20 is not that many. You know how many times Trevor Lawrence did that last year? 13.
Wow.
I mean, Trevor Lawrence is clearly a much better and much more polished passer than Justin Fields. And I know I don't like to do this whole QB wins thing because I think it's flawed. But at the end,
no. That's the most important thing when it comes to quarterbacks, in my opinion. It's not flawed. And I'm not saying that coming after you. I'm just saying for the people that are going to be like, oh, well, Fields is in a worse situation. No, Trevor Lawrence is when he had one of the most miraculous playoff comebacks in NFL history, and he won in a playoff game against Justin Herbert, no less.
I was going to say, Lucas, as much as I still think that quarterback wins is flawed. It's a team game. The reality is Trevor Lawrence was 9-8 as a starter, led the Jacksonville Jaguars to the playoffs, led the Jacksonville Jaguars to a playoff win, led them out of a hole that he helped dig, but it still showed a lot of resilience.
Toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes in that game.
He was all right.
That was close.
That game should not have been close as it was.
But was it close?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm agreeing with you, Jeff. Like, that game should not have been close.
I'm not saying stat-wise, but that game was close against these Super Bowl winning.
He didn't implode at Arrowhead. He was fine. And that's kind of the progression in a young quarterback and a young up-and-coming team. Lose at Arrowhead in the playoffs. I think we would all agree with that. But yeah, Trevor Lawrence, he was 9-8 as a starter, and Justin Fields, and I'm not saying that all the losses were his fault because they weren't. That defense, when they got rid of Roquan Smith and Robert Quinn, was the worst in the league. He was 3-12 as a starter. And there were some games where he couldn't complete a big pass, where he would have a terrible turnover, a la the game at home against the Detroit Lions, where he threw that horrific pick six to Jeff Okudah. If he doesn't throw that pick six, the Lions probably don't win that game.
Sure.
We're probably not talking about the Lions with the expectations that they have right now if Justin Fields didn't make that terrible decision. So to that, I say thank you. But one other thing that I want to address too is the whole Jamal Williams thing, because I am the first one right now to say that I think Jamal Williams has become a little bit too disrespected by Lions fans on his way out the door. I do think he deserves to be on this list at 95. I just don't think he deserves to be above Trevor Lawrence, Harrison Smith, Tristan Wirfs, DeMarcus Lawrence, Devontae Smith.
Hell no.
Maybe Harrison Smith, but even that I would say no. I think Jamal Williams being at 95 is fine. It just kind of shows what dog water this list was, because as much as you want to say about Jamal Williams, he was 11th in the NFL in rushing yards last season with, I think, 1,066, and first in rushing touchdowns with 17. The second closest had 13. So Jamal Williams does deserve a spot at the bottom of this list. But over Trevor Lawrence, that is, my brain can't even process that.
You
right
can't compute
now.
that. You can't compute those stats.
I'll say this. I'll say two things here. Number one, Trevor Lawrence, a year removed from Urban Meyer. A year removed from Urban Meyer, the most disastrous situation in the NFL, point blank, end of story. And he comes out the next season, wins his division. I get it was a terrible division, but still 9-8. Doug Peterson without Calvin. There's no Calvin Ridley. This is the surgeons of Christian Kirk. They beat the Chargers on a comeback when Trevor Lawrence looked god-awful, but the second half looked a lot better. Went toe-to-toe, at least team-wise. It was close against the Chiefs. I know they ended up losing that game, but the fact that a year removed from Urban Meyer, they win a playoff game.
Yeah.
And Trevor Lawrence has a great sophomore year. I don't get it. This is what my problem is with Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields will be fine in the NFL, but people are overrating his ability, his dynamic, what he can do with his legs, how dynamic he is with his legs. People assume that equates to a top 80 player. I'll tell you what, if Justin Fields is on this list, Jared Goff deserves to be on this list.
100%.
He deserves to be on this.
I agree.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but if you're going to put Fields on this list, I better see Goff in the 70s, man. Like, if Goff's in the hundreds with Fields at what is he at?
86, I think
86 for Justin Fields. Goff should be 75. Like, this makes no sense, and if he's not, I'm sorry. The players are going off wow ability. I go off who's a better quarterback. It's Jared Goff right now. Justin Fields, as great and dynamic as he is with his legs, get that out of here. The man just this past season threw more touchdowns than interceptions by a couple, like 6. Which great. That's what we're looking for. But that gets you into the top 80. Are you high? Are you high? Are you high?
Smoking on that reefer.
Like that? No, that's my problem. I'm not saying it's right or wrong for Goff, but again, this is the consistency I need from the players here. If Fields is 86, then Goff needs to be on this list. I'm sorry. It is what it is.
Thank you, JB.
You can't have a guy.
JB wants a word.
The man was top 5, top 6 in multiple categories, and he's not going to be on this list. Oh, but Jeff, it was 1 year. Fields was 1 year. You idiots! Holy hell!
They got him off his rocker.
Holy hell!
They got him off his rocker.
Don't go. It was 1 year. Fields had 1 year. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Sorry.
That's all right, JB.
JB, give me what you got.
I think we figured out Jeff's trigger word. I think it's Fields. I just got to say that, and then he just blows up all the way. But still, seriously, like, come on. Goff deserves to be on this list. Definitely higher than Justin Fields. Jamal Williams, as you said, I'm not even giving him that 97. He needs to be dumped all the way back to 100.
They're leaving guys like Kevin Byard off this list.
That's wild.
and then the honorable mentions, it's like all of these guys are more deserving of it than Jamal skill-wise.
Yeah, I mean, I just
don't understand it.
No, I just think that with Jamal Williams, I do believe he has been a little bit overhated on his way out. And I believe it was Steve Reinert who said this. He said that, I can't find it right now, but he said something like Sam was just talking trash about Jamal Williams a couple of weeks ago, calling his speech in Hard Knocks fake. That is why I am the conscientious objector when it comes to this, because I have no emotional attachment to Jamal Williams like a lot of Lions fans. I didn't like the whole, he likes anime, he cried on national TV, then like Detroit versus everybody, he had that speech, he's like dynamic, all that kind of stuff as a personality. But no, I judge what he did on the field, and on the field he had the best season by Detroit Lions running back since Barry Sanders by the numbers. I get it that it isn't that, like, he doesn't have a lot of competition, but at the same time, Jamal Williams on this list at 95, I have no problem with. And I know, before we move on from this topic, because I know in the next segment we're going to talk about Lions players that we think should make this list down the road, I have to give a shout out to my guy Aiden Hutchinson, of course, making the list at number 88
as a rookie.
He's a dog.
I mean, that's the thing, because Aiden Hutchinson, obviously, I probably would have even put him a little bit higher on this list. But when you're a rookie, when you have a great season, but not like an all-time great season by a defensive end a la a guy like Javon Curse, he just had a regular great season where he led all rookies in sacks. The fact that he was recognized being on this list is absolutely huge. And I think this will be the lowest that he ranks on this list for the next decade.
Yep.
So
that's fair.
But this was a damn good start. I love that he's getting that recognition, and I love that Aiden Hutchinson really showed out for the Lions this year, because I obviously caped up for him all the way back when he was at college with Michigan. He's my favorite Michigan player of all time, and I understand first guessing a second overall pick isn't that big of a deal. I'm not going to be like, I told you, because a lot of people thought that Aiden Hutchinson was going to be great. But to see him go through some early season rookie growing pains and then learn from that, finish the season strong, lead a defense which in the last 10 games was pretty damn good, bravo to Aiden Hutchinson. I love that he is on this list. I have no beef with him being 88.
Hutchinson nut hugger.
Oh, thank you, JB. And you know what? I am a proud Aiden Hutchinson nut hugger. I will be one for the rest of my life.
You know what? We'll get rid of that film.
Loud and proud, Flannel.
And to Flannel's point about, by the way, shout out to Aiden Hutchinson. I agree with you, Sam. I think it's the highest he'll ever be on this list. I think he's going to continue to rise, no doubt about it. The reason too with Fields it's not even about Fields, because again, I like Fields. I just hate how these things play out, these rankings play out, because, and I'll get to some of these comments. People are chiming in here. Soft Jones says Fields isn't trash. The Bears roster was terrible. Real Cream of Wheat says the problem is this list putting Fields ahead of T-Law. And again, guys, just on that, in Static says, calm down, Fields is a problem for players to defend. Don't see this as a problem. Well, I'll tell you what. Is it a problem defending a guy who only had 2 games last season where he threw over 200 yards? Is this a problem? Like, is he a threat? Like, with his legs, absolutely. But this is the problem I have, is they try to crown guys prematurely. Like, you can't tell me. Anybody with eyeballs would agree. Trevor Lawrence is better than Fields.
And it's not like he didn't show it this year. It's not like we were like still waiting on Trevor Lawrence to like show up. He showed up after the Lions game. They woke up, and Trevor Lawrence, almost like Goff, I think he was the second most efficient quarterback. He threw 15 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. So this last half of the season, they only lost, I believe, 1 game. They beat the Cowboys when no one expected them to do, so they proved that game. And they went on the playoffs, and they proved more people wrong. So not only Justin Fields proved people wrong, no doubt. The Bears do not have a good roster, no doubt. But when you have a quarterback who is showing you more, arguably, in my opinion, I don't even think it's arguable, has more talent at the quarterback position. Why is he behind him? That's the whole thing. It's fine to have Fields on this list, but behind T-Law is just disgusting.
Well, that's the thing, Lucas. I don't even necessarily, if you wanted to put Justin Fields in the 90s, I wouldn't even necessarily have a problem with it. And because we do not hate Justin Fields.
No.
I think he has a lot of talent. I would say the difference between Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields right now, they both had, I would say, underwhelming rookie years, and that's putting it nicely, but they both came into very, very bad situations. Trevor Lawrence proved without a shadow of a doubt with his phenomenal second season that it was all Urban Meyer. It was all the poor situation. When you gave him something a little bit better, you gave him Doug Peterson, you gave him Travis Etienne, you gave him Brandon Sheriff, you gave him Christian Kirk and Zay Jones and the like. He was going to ball out, and he did. Albeit Justin Fields, he didn't get all of those upgrades in his second year, but he is still yet to prove that it was all the situation. I think Justin Fields has a chance this year to have that resurgent year where he has more touchdown passes, where he does show that he can throw the football while still maintaining that dynamic running ability, and then only then will we be able to put to bed the talk of, oh, Justin Fields can't throw. He hasn't shown enough just quite yet. I think he will, but Trevor Lawrence has already proven things that Justin Fields just quite simply has not even come close to proving.
Well, and this is my other problem too, is like, pull up that list where Fields ranks, and this, I'll end it with this. Like, this is my problem. It's not even just over Lawrence, and I'll go even as far to say, how in the hell is this man ranked over Tua?
Oh, dear God.
Like, Tua in 13 games last season, 25 touchdowns, 8 picks, almost averaged 270 yards per game.
How is Tua over Trevor?
Yes, that's what I'm
How is Tua over
yes.
Trevor? Oh my God.
but-
that just made me more mad than Fields. Because
No.
at least Fields is crazy athletic and talented,
But that-
where his ceiling is just crazy.
No.
If Justin Fields is, like, I can understand where they're coming from with what he can be, but Tua over Trevor
Yes.
Lawrence? Oh my God.
And that's my problem. Tua over Lawrence, no. Fields over Tua and Lawrence, no. So this list stinks. But you know what? We'll go to break when we get back.